Captain Tae-hyun stood on the bridge of the Dawn's Promise and watched another human colony disappear from his screen. Not destroyed, just given away. The diplomatic deal he just signed handed over the mining rights of 3 asteroid fields that human families had worked for 20 years. The alien delegation smiled with their sharp teeth and left without even saying thank you. "Sir, the colonists are asking why we gave up their homes," said Hannah Beck, his chief diplomat. Her voice was tired. She had been making these deals for 5 years now. "Tell them it was for peace," Tae-hyun said. He did not believe his own words anymore. The Galactic Council had seemed like a dream when humanity joined 47 years ago. Finally, Earth was part of something bigger. Humans could trade, learn, and grow alongside hundreds of alien species. The Council promised protection and fairness. They promised justice, but justice never came for humans. Dae-won, the military advisor, slammed his hand on the console. "This is the 15th time this year. 15 times we have given up our territory. 15 times we have said sorry for things we did not do. When do we stop?" Hannah turned to him with sad eyes. "When the alternative is war. We cannot fight the entire galaxy. Maybe we do not have to fight everyone. Maybe we just stop letting them walk all over us." Tae-hyun knew Dae-won was right, but orders from Earth were clear. Keep the peace, no matter what. Humans were the newest members of the Council. They had to prove they were civilized. They had to show they were not violent. They had to be patient. Patience had become their prison. The message came 3 days later. New Busan Colony, a farming world on the edge of human space, had been raided. The Veltros Empire claimed humans had violated their territory. They said it was an accident that 300 civilians died. They said their soldiers got confused. Tae-hyun read the report and felt something break inside him. Children. The Veltros had killed children. He brought the evidence to the Galactic Council the next day. The council chamber was massive, with representatives from 200 species. Humans had 1 small seat near the back. The Veltros Empire had 20 seats near the front. Tae-hyun waited for 6 hours before they let him speak. "Honored Council," he began, his voice steady. "I bring evidence of a massacre. 300 human civilians were killed on New Busan. The attack was unprovoked. We have recordings. We have witnesses. We ask for justice." The Veltros ambassador stood up. He was 3 meters tall with scales that shimmered like oil. "The human exaggerates. It was a territorial dispute. Our soldiers acted in self-defense. They killed farmers," Tae-hyun said, his voice rising. "Children playing in fields, old people in their homes. This was not self-defense." The council leader, a floating creature made of light and gas, spoke in a bored tone. "The council recognizes this event as unfortunate. We encourage both parties to communicate better. This matter is closed." Closed? Tae-hyun could not believe it. 300 dead and you call it closed? "Captain, you forget your place. The Veltros are senior members. Humans are new. Perhaps your people should have been more careful about where they built their colonies." Tae-hyun wanted to scream. He wanted to flip the table. Instead, he bowed his head and left. This was how it always went. Humans complained. The council ignored them. Everyone moved on. Back on Earth, Hannah Bike sat in her apartment and watched the news. Another human ship had been seized by the Krivath Dominion. The crew was taken as slaves. The council called it a cultural misunderstanding. She had spent 10 years trying to change things through words. 10 years of writing agreements, making deals, and begging for respect. Nothing changed. She opened her computer and wrote a resignation letter. She was done being polite to people who saw her as prey. Across the city, Admiral Woo Jin Park sat in a secret military bunker. On his screen were designs for weapons the galaxy had never seen. For 30 years, Earth's best scientists had been working in silence. They built ships that could move faster than anything in the galaxy. They created weapons that could crack planets. They designed an army that could fight on 1,000 worlds at once. But Earth's leaders kept saying no. Keep the peace. Do not provoke. Be patient. Wu Jin wondered how many more had to die before patience became stupidity. The answer came sooner than anyone expected. The message from the frontier arrived at midnight. 3 colonies, Jeju 7, New Haven, and Exodus Station. All 3 hit at the same time. 50,000 humans dead in a single coordinated attack by the Veltros Empire. When Tae-hyun heard the news, he did not cry. He just stared at the wall and thought about all the times he had been told to wait. All the times he had been told that peace was worth any price. He picked up his communicator and called Admiral Wu Jin. "I think it is time," he said simply. "I have been waiting for you to say that," Wu Jin replied. "I will start making preparations." Somewhere in the galaxy, the Veltros celebrated their victory. They laughed about how easy it was to kill humans. They joked that humans were too soft to fight back. They had no idea what was coming. Humanity had been kind for 47 years. They had been patient. They had been forgiving. They had given up everything for peace. But even the kindest dog will bite when you keep kicking it. The Human Assembly building in Geneva had never been so quiet. Prime Minister Mina Choi stood at the podium and looked at the faces of Earth's leaders. Everyone had seen the videos from Jeju 7. Everyone knew what happened. 50,000 dead, she said softly. 50,000 of our people burned alive while the galaxy watches. And what does the Galactic Council do? They sent us a letter, a strongly worded letter. She held up the paper and let it fall to the floor. They express concern. They encourage dialogue. They remind us that escalation helps no one. Her voice grew louder. They tell us to be reasonable, to understand that war is complicated, to remember our place. Admiral Wu Jin Park sat in the front row. His uniform was crisp. His face was stone. He had been waiting for this moment for 30 years. "I have a survivor here today," Mina continued. "Her name is Suji Kang. She wants to tell you what being reasonable looks like." Suji walked to the podium. She was 23 years old. 3 days ago, she had a mother, a father, and 2 younger brothers. Now she had nothing but burns on her arms and rage in her heart. "My family ran a farm on Jeju 7, she began. Her voice shook, but she kept going. "We grew rice, real earth rice in alien soil. My little brother Minho was 7. He loved to chase the butterflies that we brought from Earth. He was chasing one when the ships came." The room was completely silent. "They did not warn us. They just started shooting. My father pushed me into the shelter. I heard him screaming. I heard everyone screaming. The shelter had a window. I watched my home burn. I watched my brother stop running." Tears ran down her face, but her voice grew stronger. "The Veltros soldiers walked through the ashes when it was over. They were laughing. I heard them laughing while my family burned, and now the council tells us to be patient. To talk. To understand their perspective." She looked directly at the camera that was broadcasting to every human world. "I understand perfectly. They think we are weak. They think we will always forgive. They think we are afraid to fight back. I am here to say they are wrong. We are not weak. We are not cowards. We are just done being kind to monsters." The applause started slow, then grew like thunder. Suji stepped down and Mina took the podium again. "The Galactic Council has failed us. For 47 years we have followed their rules. We have paid their fees. We have given up our rights for the promise of protection. That protection never came. Our kindness was seen as weakness. Our patience was seen as fear." She paused and let her next words sink in. "As of today, humanity withdraws from the Galactic Council. We will no longer beg for what should be freely given. We ask for peace. They gave us war. We will no longer negotiate with people who think our lives are worthless. Admiral Wu Jin stood up. This was his signal. We have prepared for this day, Mina said. Admiral Park will now activate Protocol Winter. The lights dimmed. On the screen behind Mina, images appeared. Massive ships hiding in the dark between stars. Weapons platforms orbiting the sun. Armies training in secret bases on Mars and Europa. For 3 decades, humanity had been building. Not building for conquest, building for survival. We tried peace, Mina said. Now we try something else. We will take back what was stolen. We will rescue who was taken. We will make them understand that humanity is not prey. This is not revenge. This is justice. This is survival. This is war. The vote was unanimous. Every nation on Earth agreed. Every colony in human space sent the same message. Enough. Admiral Wu Jin left the assembly and went straight to Fleet Command. Hana Baek was already there. She had resigned from the diplomatic corps and joined the military. She was done talking. How long until we are ready? Wu Jin asked. The first fleet can launch in 6 hours, replied Admiral Tae Hyun, who now commanded the largest battle group humanity had ever assembled. The second and third fleets will follow in 12 hours. Target? Veltros Supply Hub Omega 9. It supplies their entire 5th sector. Take it out and they lose 50 systems. Wu Jin smiled for the first time in years. Good. I want every species in the galaxy to see what happens when you mistake patience for weakness. Send the message. The message went out on all frequencies. It was short. It was simple. It was final. To the Galactic Council and all member species, humanity has withdrawn from your authority. We no longer recognize your jurisdiction. For 47 years we sought peace. You responded with violence. You killed our people. You stole our worlds. You laughed at our pain. You thought we were weak because we were kind. You thought we were helpless because we were patient. You were wrong. This is your only warning. Return what you have taken. Release who you have captured. Surrender those responsible for the massacres. You have 72 hours. After that, we will come and take what is ours. We will not negotiate. We will not compromise. We will not forgive. You had decades to do the right thing. That time is over. Prepare yourselves. Humanity is done being prey. The Veltros Empire received the message and laughed. Humans had no military worth mentioning. They had a few dozen old ships and some planetary defense. They were bluffing. They had to be bluffing. The Veltros High Command sent a mocking reply. Little humans making threats. How adorable. Come and try. We will add Earth to our collection. In the secret shipyards beyond Pluto, Admiral Tae Hyun read the reply. He turned to his crew. They were young. They were angry. They were ready. All ships, prepare for jump. Power up weapons. Activate combat systems. Target Omega 9. He sat in his command chair and felt the ship come alive beneath him. The Retribution was the largest ship humanity had ever built. It had been hidden for 28 years, waiting for this moment. Sir, said the tactical officer, all ships report ready. Tae Hyun thought about Suji Kong. He thought about her little brother chasing butterflies. He thought about 50,000 voices silenced forever. He thought about every time he had been forced to bow and apologize for things he did not do. Jump! He ordered. Space tore open. 200 human ships appeared in Veltros space. They were no longer hiding. They were no longer asking permission. They were no longer kind. The wolves had revealed their teeth. The Veltros defense commander at Omega 9 was drinking his morning stimulant when the alarm started screaming. He dropped his cup and ran to the command center. On the screens, he saw something impossible. 200 human warships had just appeared in his sector. They were massive. They were armed. They were real. This must be a sensor error, he said. Humans do not have ships like that. Sir, they are targeting our stations. They are powering weapons. This is not an error. The commander opened a channel. Human ships, you are in violation of Veltros space. Leave immediately, or we will destroy you, Admiral Tae-hyun responded. His voice was calm and cold. You have killed 50,000 of my people. You laughed about it. Now you will learn what humans do when we stop being kind. This is Omega-9's only chance. Evacuate your stations. You have 10 minutes. You dare threaten us? We have 500 ships in this sector. You have 8 minutes now. The Veltros commander cut the transmission and called for reinforcements. His defense fleet began moving into position. 500 ships against 200. The math was simple. Humans would die today. He had no idea how wrong he was. Commander Jin-Ho Lee stood on the bridge of the Retribution and watched the enemy fleet approach. His tactical officer, Arin Song, was already plotting firing solutions. Their ships are older models, Arin said. Heavy armor, but slow. They think they can overwhelm us with numbers. They think like the old galaxy, Jin-Ho replied. They have no idea what we built. Arin, show them what humans can do when we stop holding back. The Veltros fleet opened fire first. Hundreds of energy beams and missiles filled the space between the two fleets. It looked like certain death for the human ships. Then the human shields activated. Every beam hit a barrier of energy that ate the attacks like they were nothing. The missiles exploded against fields that did not even flicker. The Veltros had never seen defensive technology like this. Humans had spent 30 years studying every weapon in the galaxy and building shields that could stop them all. Their turn is over, Jin-Ho said. Our turn now. All ships, fire. The human fleet fired as one. But these were not the simple energy weapons the galaxy knew. These were quantum disruption cannons that tore apart matter at the atomic level. These were kinetic accelerators that fired projectiles at 90% of light speed. These were weapons designed by a species that had studied war for its entire history. The first volley erased 100 Veltros ships in 3 seconds. The second volley took out another 100. The defense commander stared at his screen in horror. Half his fleet was gone. Just gone, in 6 seconds. His remaining ships tried to run, but human ships were faster, so much faster. Arin Song launched her fighter squadron. She had been flying simulations for 10 years, waiting for real combat. Now she finally had her chance. Her squadron of 50 fighters moved like birds, dancing between the slow Veltros cruisers. "Gold Squadron, target their engines," she ordered. "Make them watch what comes next." Her fighters were small and fast, using gravity drives that let them turn in ways that should be impossible. She locked onto a Veltros carrier and fired. Her weapons punched through their armor like paper. The carrier tried to shoot her down, but she was already gone, moving to the next target. In 15 minutes, Arin's squadron had destroyed 37 ships. She did not lose a single fighter. The Veltros defense commander tried to surrender, but no one answered his calls. The human fleet simply kept firing. Station after station exploded. Ship after ship died. The supply hub that had fed 50 Veltros systems for 200 years was being torn apart. 11 minutes after the battle started, it was over. 500 Veltros ships destroyed. 0 human losses. Admiral Tae-hyun broadcast the battle footage on every frequency. He wanted the galaxy to see. He wanted them to understand. "This is what happens when you mistake patience for cowardice," he said. "For 47 years we held back. We hid our strength. We hoped diplomacy would work. You saw our kindness and thought we were harmless. You were wrong. This is your future if you continue to attack human worlds. We will not stop. We will not negotiate. We will not show mercy to those who showed us none." The message reached the Veltros homeworld 6 hours later. The Emperor watched the footage 3 times. He could not believe what he was seeing. Humans had destroyed a major military hub in 11 minutes. 11 minutes. He called an emergency meeting of his war council. "How many ships do the humans have?" "We do not know, Majesty. Our intelligence said they had perhaps 50 old vessels." Now we see hundreds of advanced warships. They have been hiding their strength for decades. Can we defeat them? The room was silent. Finally, the fleet admiral spoke. No, Majesty, not with what we just saw. Their technology is beyond ours. Their tactics are perfect. They fight like they have been preparing for this war their entire existence. Then we negotiate peace. They are not accepting communications, Majesty. I tried. On Earth, Prime Minister Mina Choi received daily reports from the fleet. Omega-9 was just the beginning. Human forces were moving through Veltros space like a storm. They hit military bases, supply lines, and command centers. They avoided civilian targets. This was not genocide. This was precision warfare. Within 3 weeks, the Veltros Empire had lost 6 entire systems. Their economy was collapsing. Their military was in chaos. They sent peace offers through every channel they could find. Humanity ignored all of them. Admiral Woo Jin Park addressed the human assembly. They are asking for peace. They want to negotiate. They promise to behave better. What do we tell them? Asked a council member. We tell them they had 47 years to talk. They chose violence. Now they will live with the consequences. We continue until they have no ability to threaten us ever again. The Second Fleet under Admiral Hannah Bayek hit the Krivath Dominion 3 days later. The Krivath had taken human slaves for decades. They claimed it was their culture. They said humans should respect their traditions. Hannah did not care about their traditions. She cared about the 15,000 humans in Krivath slave camps. She went to free them. The battle was even shorter than Omega-9. The Krivath ships were designed for raiding, not real warfare. Human ships cut through them like they were toys. Hannah landed troops on every slave planet and freed every human she found. She also freed aliens who were slaves. Millions of them. Humans were not fighting for conquest. They were fighting for justice. The galaxy watched in shock. Species that had bullied humanity for decades suddenly realized they had woken a sleeping giant. A giant that was very, very angry. And this giant was just getting started. Judge Advocate General Hyun Seo looked at the prisoner and felt nothing but cold purpose. The Veltros officer in front of her had personally ordered the attack on New Busan. He had laughed while children burned. Now he sat in chains, begging for mercy. "Please," he said. "I was following orders. I had no choice." Hyun Seo opened a folder. Inside were pictures of every person he had killed. 300 faces. She had memorized all of them. "This is Molly Kwan. She was 6 years old. She loved to draw pictures of stars. You killed her while she was hiding under her bed." Hyun Seo showed him the picture. "This is Grandfather Cheol Park. He was 83. He survived the colony wars. He built New Busan with his own hands. You killed him in his garden." She showed him picture after picture, name after name. The officer began to cry. "I am sorry. I am so sorry." "Sorry is not enough. You had a choice. You chose cruelty. This court finds you guilty of 300 counts of murder. The sentence is death." The officer screamed as guards took him away. Hyun Seo felt no satisfaction. Justice was not about satisfaction. It was about balance. It was about making sure the guilty paid for what they did. Her court had tried 57 Veltros officers so far, all guilty, all sentenced. But Hyun Seo also made sure to protect the innocent. When human forces captured Veltros civilians, she ensured they were treated well, fed, given medical care, sent home when possible. "We are not like them," she told her staff. "We punish the guilty. We protect the innocent. That is what separates justice from revenge." Across the galaxy, Commander Junho Kim worked in the shadows. His job was intelligence. He tracked down the worst criminals, the slavers, the torturers, the ones who thought they could hide. He found a Krivath warlord hiding on a remote moon. This warlord had personally captured 5,000 humans and sold them. Junho's team went in silently. They took the warlord without firing a shot. He would face trial like everyone else. But Junho's biggest discovery came from hacking the old Galactic Council networks. He found financial records, communications, secret deals. The evidence was damning. Many council members had taken bribes from the Veltros and Krivoth. They had been paid to ignore human complaints, paid to look away when humans died. The council was not just useless, it was corrupt. Junho sent the evidence to every news network in the galaxy. Within hours, the truth spread everywhere. Species that had trusted the council felt betrayed. The council tried to deny it, but the evidence was too strong. The old Galactic Council collapsed in disgrace. Their headquarters was abandoned. Their authority was gone. The galaxy needed a new order. Commander Yuna Jong stood on the surface of a liberated Krivoth slave world and watched humans and aliens work together to rebuild. Her mercy mission had brought food, medicine, and construction equipment. She had orders to help everyone, not just humans. "Why do you help us?" asked a Krivoth civilian. "We enslaved your people. We hurt you. Why show us kindness?" Yuna smiled sadly. "Because that is who we are. We fight the guilty. We help the innocent. You did not choose to be born into a corrupt system. Your leaders made those choices. You deserve better." The civilian began to cry. "I thought humans would kill us all. I thought you would destroy our worlds." "We are not destroyers. We are builders. We fought to stop the evil. Now we build something better." Word of human mercy spread as fast as word of human fury. Species saw that humans could be both fierce and kind. They could destroy an entire battle fleet and then feed the survivors. They could execute war criminals and then protect refugees. This confused many aliens. How could one species be so violent and so gentle? Humans understood perfectly. It was not complicated. You fought the ones who hurt people. You helped the ones who needed it. You punished evil. You protected good. This was not hard to understand unless you had never faced real justice before. The Veltros Empire finally collapsed after losing 20 systems. The Emperor fled, but Junho's team found him 3 days later. He faced trial for ordering the deaths of 50,000 humans. He was found guilty. The sentence was carried out. The Krivoth Dominion surrendered after their entire leadership was captured. The trials took months. The guilty were punished. The innocent were freed. Every slave camp was shut down. Every slaver faced justice. But something unexpected happened. Species that had been enemies began asking for human help. The Drathak people had been raided by the Veltros for centuries. Now the Veltros were broken, and the Drathak wanted to join the humans. "We watched what you did," said the Drathak ambassador. "You could have conquered the galaxy. You could have taken everything. Instead, you fought only those who deserved it. You showed mercy when you could have shown cruelty. We want to be part of what you are building." More species came forward. The Kelesh, the Masari, the Tovan. Even some former Veltros colonies asked to join. They did not want conquest. They wanted protection. They wanted justice. They wanted what humanity had promised from the beginning and finally delivered. Prime Minister Mina Choi met with these ambassadors. "We will help you. But understand this. We have rules now. No slavery, no genocide, no exploitation. We protect the weak. We punish the evil. We build together. If you can agree to this, you are welcome." Every species agreed. Admiral Tae Hyun retired from military service. He had fought enough. He had killed enough. Now he wanted to teach. He became an instructor at the new war college on Mars. Young officers came from Earth and from dozens of alien species. "War is not something to celebrate," he told his students. "War is something we do when everything else fails. We tried peace for 47 years. We gave up everything for it. But peace without justice is not real peace. It is just waiting to die. Remember this. Be kind when you can. Be fierce when you must. Know the difference. That is what makes us human. On the ruins of New Busan, workers began rebuilding. A memorial was constructed for the 300 dead. Suji Kang attended the dedication ceremony. She placed flowers at her family's names. I thought I would feel better when justice came, she told Yuna Jang. But they are still gone. Justice did not bring them back. No, Yuna agreed. Justice cannot undo the past, but it can protect the future. Your family died because the galaxy thought we were weak. Now the galaxy knows we are strong. No one will attack a human colony again. Your family helped teach that lesson. Their deaths meant something. Suji looked at the memorial. At 300 names carved in stone. At 50,000 more names on memorials across human space. I hope you are right, she said quietly. I hope this means something. I hope we never have to do this again. Yuna put a hand on her shoulder. We will never start a war, but we will always finish one. That is the promise. That is what they died for. The galaxy was learning, slowly, painfully, but learning. Humanity was not prey. 5 years after the war ended, Secretary General Mina Choi stood at the entrance of Unity 7 Station and looked at the building before her. It was the new Galactic Assembly, not a council of the powerful, an assembly of equals. The building was designed by humans, but built by hundreds of species working together. It had no grand chambers for the mighty, no small seats in the back for the weak. Every species had the same sized room. Every voice had the same weight. It is strange, said the Drathak ambassador walking beside her. 5 years ago, we were enemies. Now we build together. We were never supposed to be enemies, Mina replied. The old council made us enemies. They benefited from our conflict. That system is dead now. Inside the assembly, representatives from 140 species gathered for the first session. Some had fought against humanity. Some had fought beside them. All had agreed to the new rules. Mina stood at the podium and looked at the faces before her. Humans, Drathak, Kelesh, former Veltros citizens, former Krivath slaves. Everyone who wanted peace was here. Welcome, she began. We gather today not as conquerors and conquered, not as masters and servants. We gather as equals. The old Galactic Council failed because it protected the powerful and ignored the weak. We will not make that mistake. She activated a display showing the new laws, simple rules, clear rules. No species may enslave another. No species may commit genocide. No species may steal another's territory without consequence. Trade will be fair. Disputes will be settled by law, not by war. The strong will protect the weak, not exploit them. And who decides what is fair? Asked a Kalesh representative. Who enforces these rules? Mina gestured to the viewing window. Outside, a massive fleet hung in space. Human ships formed the core, but ships from 20 other species flew alongside them. We all do. Humanity maintains the largest military because we proved we can be trusted with power. But every member species contributes to the defense fleet. Every member species has judges in our courts. Every member species helps enforce the law. This is not human domination. This is shared responsibility. A former Veltros representative stood up. She was young, born after the war. What about revenge? Many species suffered under Veltros rule. What stops them from taking revenge on us now? Yun Seo, now the Chief Justice, answered. The same thing that stopped humanity from destroying your entire species when we could have. Justice. We punished the guilty. We protected the innocent. That is the law now. If someone attacks you for crimes you did not commit, they face the same justice as the original criminals. But how can we trust this? The Veltros woman asked. How can we trust humans will not become the new tyrants? Admiral Tae-hyun, who had come out of retirement for the ceremony, stood up. Because we learned something your leaders never understood. Power without restraint destroys the one who holds it. We could have conquered the galaxy. We could have made you all kneel. But then, we would become what we fought against. We would become monsters. He looked around the room. Let me tell you a story. When I was a young captain, I spent 40 years bowing to species that saw me as prey. I gave up territory. I apologized for things I did not do. I swallowed my pride every day because I believed peace was worth any price. I was wrong. Peace without dignity is not peace. It is slavery. His voice grew stronger. But I also learned another lesson during the war. Victory without mercy is not victory. It is just creating new enemies. We fought to stop evil, not to become evil. Every day we had to choose vengeance or justice, cruelty or mercy, domination or partnership. We chose justice. We chose mercy. We chose partnership. That is why you can trust us. Because we had every reason to choose differently, and we did not. The room was silent. Then, slowly, the Veltros representative began to clap. Others joined. Soon the entire assembly was applauding. After the session, Mina walked through the memorial gardens built outside Unity 7. 50,000 names were carved into black stone. Every human who died in the conflicts, every victim of the massacres, their names would never be forgotten. Suji Kang was there, as she often was. She had become an ambassador representing the survivors. She placed flowers at her family's names. Do you think they would be proud? Suji asked. Do you think the people we lost would approve of what we built? Mina thought carefully. I think they would be glad the dying stopped. I think they would be happy their deaths meant something. We cannot bring them back. But we can make sure no one else has to die the way they did. A young Veltros child approached them nervously. She could not have been more than 10 years old. She held a flower. Excuse me, the child said quietly. I wanted to say sorry for what my people did. I know it does not fix anything, but I wanted you to know that some of us are sorry. Suji looked at this child, this innocent child who had nothing to do with the war. She thought about her little brother who never got to grow up. She thought about all the lessons learned in blood and fire. Thank you, Suji said gently. Would you like to place your flower with mine? The child nodded. Together, they placed flowers on the memorial. A human survivor and a Veltros child, side by side. This was what they had fought for. Not revenge, not domination. A future where children did not have to pay for their parents' sins. That evening, Admiral Wu Jin gave a speech at the War College. Hundreds of cadets, human and alien, listened. You are the first generation to train under the new system, he said. You will serve in mixed crews. You will protect species that were once enemies. Some of you will die protecting people your grandparents fought against. This is not easy, but it is necessary. He paused. Let me be very clear about something. Humanity did not win the war because we were stronger. We won because we were smarter. We won because we prepared. We won because when we finally fought, we fought with purpose and precision. But most importantly, we won because we knew when to stop. We could have killed every Veltros. We could have enslaved the Krivath. We could have ruled the galaxy through fear. Some people wanted that. They said we earned it. They said we deserved revenge. But we chose a harder path. We chose to build instead of destroy. We chose to forgive instead of hate. We chose to lift up instead of push down. He looked at the young faces before him. That is your mission now. You carry the weapons. You hold the power. You must choose every day how to use it. Choose justice over revenge. Choose protection over domination. Choose to be the shield, not the sword. unless they make you draw that sword. Then you draw it swiftly, and you end the threat completely. But always, always choose peace first. After the speech, Tae-hyun found Woo-jin. They were both old men now. They had fought together, built together. They understood each other perfectly. "Do you think it will last?" Tae-hyun asked. "Do you think this peace we built will survive us?" Woo-jin looked at the cadets training together, humans teaching aliens, aliens teaching humans, enemies becoming friends. "I think we gave them the tools," he said. "They have the laws, they have the weapons, they have the example. We showed them that strength without honor is worthless. We showed them that power without compassion creates only hate. We showed them a better way. If they remember the lessons, it will last." On New Busan, now fully rebuilt, the memorial stood at the center of the colony. A massive stone with an inscription. Mina Choi had written it herself. "They called our kindness weakness. They learned the difference between patience and fear. We gave peace every chance. Then we gave war no mercy. May this stand as a reminder, humanity will always choose peace first, but never peace at any price. To those we lost, your deaths taught the galaxy to respect life. Your sacrifice built a better future. You will never be forgotten." Below the words, 300 names. Above them, 50,000 stars carved into the stone. One for each life lost. Suji Kang visited the memorial every year on the anniversary. She was older now. The pain had dulled but never disappeared. She touched her brother's name and spoke quietly. "We did it, Minho. We made them understand. We made them respect us. We built something good from something terrible. I hope wherever you are you can see it. I hope you know your death meant something." The wind carried her words away. In the distance, human and alien children played together, learning together, growing together, building a future their parents could only dream of. The galaxy had learned its lesson. Humanity would always prefer peace, but if you forced them to war, they would end you, completely, efficiently, without mercy. And then, when the war was over, they would help you rebuild. They would forgive the innocent. They would punish only the guilty. They would build something better. This was the human way, kind until the end, then fierce until victory, then kind again. The galaxy would never forget.